past few months, we've been featuring the great work being done in Australia to address the lack of staff in the breeding industry. And one organisation that's doing a particularly good job is Thoroughbred Breeders New South Wales, spearheaded by Executive Officer Julianne Christopher, developing some great relationships with Racing New South Wales and government bodies that benefit breeders around Australia. Julianne, we've worked closely for a long time now with Thoroughbred Breeders New South Wales. From your point of view as Executive Officer, it's not a new thing that we're talking about staff training, is it? But some of the work you've been able to do to get some courses off the ground have been so successful.
They have. We've done a lot of work, and our project is now into, or closing into its phase 2. So from 2020 to 2025, there's a lot of work being done, and I'm just so excited with what we've achieved so far and the breadth that it's taken. So I'm quite excited to keep going and talk about where it is now.
And you really look at it in terms of attracting people to the industry, training them while they're there, and then of course you've got to retain them. You want to make sure that they stay in the industry. So some of the work that you've been doing, people don't realise how many students have already gone through these courses.
That's right. So we've put, I think the numbers, they keep going up and up as we get past each month, but we're up around the 600 mark of people that have received free training or been put into traineeships of some kind. So our entire pathway system that we have is for everybody. So it's from the new entrant all the way up to the stud manager themselves.
Well, looking at the attracting part, and this is something I know I've said, I know a lot of people have thought for years, is getting school kids involved. I mean, you really need to be working with the schools and the Thoroughly Schooled program. We saw Isabel out at Sedgenhoe Stud just doing some wonderful work with mares on a work experience period. But explain to people that, they might have kids of their own, they might be young kids watching this. What can they get out of the Thoroughly Schooled program?
So our Thoroughly Schooled program has been piloted last year. We've done a couple of rounds this year, and we've got a group of kids coming through now. So what it is, it's a real introductory experience, a discovery of the thoroughbred industry. So we have students come from across the state. They stay with host families in the Hunter Valley, and then we show them everything. They get a taste of everything from veterinary to racing, breeding. They get a half-day work experience, and they get to speak to people that work in the industry. Then they go home with a bundle of information and some great photos as well to take home back to their parents. But this time around, we're actually working on getting the parents in at the end of the program when they pick up their child to take them home, and even the career advisors themselves, so they can hear about the great time they've had. They get to see the highlights of the week. They'll hear from myself, and they'll also hear from Racing New South Wales representative as well about their pathways of where they can go when they leave school, and opportunities for while they're still at school. So they come out of the program with a whole world of experience about what this is all about in our industry, but they also get the opportunity to get part-time work while they're still at school or school holiday work. So the safety components that we do running the inductions for breeding and racing, some basic skill sets around horses, a lot of focus on that safety component. It really sets them up and gets them excited about joining the industry, whether they're leaving school early or they leave at the end of year 12. And it follows right through into the great programs we have nationally. So the TIC program, Thoroughbred Industry Careers, and the Fast Track program. It just sets them up and gets them really, really excited about joining the industry from the get-go.
Well, what I really enjoyed about being here this week is definitely seeing a foal being born, definitely something I've always wanted to do, but also working next to the vets and seeing them operate with flushing or ultrasound. Just watching all that sort of stuff was the best thing in the world, I think. I would like to be an equine vet when I'm older, so I'm really trying to get good grades to try and get in there.
It's a really good farm. I think all the farms that are helping out are really keen to encourage young people into the industry. Is that what you found?
Yes, they are. They really want more people to work with them. The more the merrier, if anything. That's what I think anyway. It's very fun, but you still got to know they're still a wild animal. Anything can happen, but they're all lovely. What I learnt was basically where to stand around them, to know their safe zone and the danger zones, to watch out for their behaviours, if they're mad at you, if they're calm or anything like that, and a lot of grooming them to make them happy and calm and stuff. Yeah.
And the TAFE part of it, so explain what you actually do with your visit to the TAFE.
So what we did was we just learnt to muck out the stables, clean the horses, like brush them down, lunge them a little bit, just do a little bit of movement with them to be able to turn them the right way, to be able to stop them, and to be able to back them up the right way, just all stuff like that.
Then looking at the training of staff, I mean, this is something that really is going to stand the industry in great stead going forwards. This level of professionalism with the workforce traineeships, there are apprenticeships and internships, and these courses are nationally accredited. This is the other big thing. They are actual qualifications.
The accreditation is a really key element to our whole project. What we do is deliver courses into bite-sized pieces, so you can do a couple of units at a time and then you can build on that to get a full qualification, which is quite valuable to the individual. We talk to the farms a lot. We like to get a lot of industry engagement. We have a lot of stud managers meetings. During our leadership courses that we've run over 2 series now, we really try and talk to the staff as well and just try and find out what it is that they are looking for and aspiring to, what they feel that they need, and then we talk to the government and training services and departments of education about what type of skill sets can we throw into those units as well.
And we filmed a fantastic leadership training part of the course with John Arthur, and it was really interesting to see the depth of experience within that sort of cohort, because you had people that had been working on farms for years or working, as Balfour as a farrier, people like that in the industry, and a lot of younger people as well. So explain a little bit about what is trying to be achieved there for those individuals and their employers.
So the idea is working on the 3 key elements, the attracting, which is the high school programs, and then the traineeships that come from those, and then the training component is about those leadership skill sets, and it's supporting both sides. So it's making sure that the farms and the people that are looking after those trainees can support them to bring them up and mentor them through their training period, and it also then helps in that retaining piece with keeping those people that are getting those qualifications. They feel more valued as an employee or a team member by doing these courses. So it's quite interesting for us to look at when we do these courses and seeing the feedback that's coming through, which is very positive so far. So that benchmark setting of certificate for horse breeding, for example, or even on the racing side, the training, it really does get them a sense of achievement, that they have succeeded, they've got to that level, and a piece of paper that says, yes, they've done it.
And it's really important that, within the breeding, the racing industry, everything, that there is collaboration. And I know from a Thoroughbred Breeders New South Wales point of view, we're trying to run these programs in the biggest breeding state in Australia, but you're also, obviously, in the work you're doing, open to sharing that with other states. And it's also great to have the input of Racing New South Wales.
That's right, and the collaboration goes quite broadly. So even what Silverdale Farm's doing within their own property is a great incentive. So those sorts of programs and what we're doing is a real roadmap for others to have a look at. We're not saying that that's the ideal model that everybody needs to do, but that's what works here in this state, and we're happily sharing that information with the other states as they approach us and with the national bodies as well. So we're quite excited about what the farms are doing and the support that they're showing towards the project. I think it's a key element for all of the collaboration from racing, breeding, state by state, and a national approach on marketing the industry to the general public as well is really a key element.
And so what would you say to a young person that's at school and thinking, oh gee, I really want to work with horses? What would you say about this course to them?
Definitely consider it. It's definitely a good opportunity to get out there, see new things. Like what it was for me, I didn't know a lot of this stuff, but now I do. So trying it out, even if you don't like it in the end, it's something good to experience and have at the back of your hand saying that you've done this. It's definitely a one-of-a-kind thing you can do.